It's Christmas at Ground Zero. There's music in the air. The sleigh bells ring, the carolers sing while the air raid sirens blare. It's Christmas at Ground Zero. The button has been pressed. The radio just let us know that this is not a test. Or is it? Today on Makayo Messenger. Welcome to Makayo Messenger. It's wonderful to be with you all today. And it's Christmas at Ground Zero, guys. Wow. Who knew that Weird Al Yankovic was a prophet? I don't know when he came out with that song. I think it was in the 80s or something, back during the first real scare of NUKEs being used in battle back during the Reagan years. And now here he is yet again proving to be true. Do the Russians love their children too? Really, we should say, do the globalists love their children too? Because that's really who's fomenting all of this. He sees all. Lynn B., Michelle, great to see you guys out there. Thank you so much for being here. Mark, Ann, Robert, awesome. Good to have you guys in the house. And you know, it's hard to believe, but they are actually planning on well, they're at least getting ready to be able to launch something our way. So isn't that nice to think on Christmas? That's what we could get down your chimney this year. You might get a nice little explosion coming your way. Woohoo, man. Well, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell, because we might not be here tomorrow for you to do that. So today's a day. Please click click now while you have the chance. You know, Ezekiel 9:39-6, it says, I will send fire on Magog and on those who live in safety in the coastlands, and they will know that I am the Lord. So we got Magog, i.e. Russia, or you could argue that's even the global tyrants, you know, the global network, the whole cabal. The Prince of Rosh, you know, is one thing, but then you've got Magog, Gog and Magog. You might argue that that's really sort of that whole Kabbalistic network that's behind, it's taking over all the nations and influencing them to do evil in the name of Satan. So kind of makes sense, because then they're there at the end after the 1,000 years. With Jesus, we again have to face Gog and Magog, which is really interesting. So in any case, Ezekiel 9 talks about bringing fire down on both Magog and those who live in the safety in the coastland. So initially, I would say Magog, Russia, but maybe if Magog is more of a metaphysical presence, you know, more this deep state kind of thing, then we may be saying it's coming down on us, that living in the coastlands, that's where the fire is going to fall. And you know, it's looking that way here more and more as Russia has primed an NUKE that is 12 times more destructive than the one dropped on Hiroshima in a warning to the West. You know, here's the thing, guys. Mr. Putin, you know, seems overall like a pretty sensible human being. And I know some people are going to get really upset because they're not really looking at this three-dimensionally. They're just looking at it on the surface of things and saying, what do you mean? He's the one who went in Ukraine and did all this stuff. It's like, yeah, but he's also the one who, you know, believes a man is a man and a woman is a woman. And just, you know, I mean, if we had people coming on our borders of Mexico or Canada and they're bringing NUKs near our border, we would be concerned, right? And we'd want to sit down and talk to them about that and try to work out some peace, which he tried to do. And the global cabal said no. Well, they said no because they want this war. They want this war. It's all part of their plan. I shared this in many videos. Go look up Albert of the P, of the I, of the K, and the E. And he talks all about it. That this is all part of their plan. They've been planning it for 100 years or however long. I think he wrote it in the 1800s or something. But to have this third world war to end all wars kind of thing, so that they could bring in their one world system. And so they need this war to do that. And they want to get rid of the West. You know, that's their goal. They want to get rid of the West so they can have control, because West represents freedom, liberty, independence, free thought, you know, and cheeseburgers. So they want to get rid of the West and bring in their one world tyrannical cabal. So to do that, they need a straw man like a Putin who's going to take the fall and be the one to push that shiny red button on Christmas Day to blow us all away. right? So that's sort of the goal there. So it's 12 times more destructive than the one dropped on Hiroshima. And if you studied that at all, that just kind of vaporized everybody. I mean, there's literally imprints of people on the walls, just looks like a shadow, and that's just all that's left of them. They just like turned to dust and were vaporized. Those who were really close, the others died of nuclear fallout and so forth. But yeah, so there's a video of an intercontinental ballistic missile on a silo launcher has been released by Russia's defense ministry and widely reported by the country's media in an apparent warning to the West. So now, while they've got you distracted with the World Cup and distracted with what gender your kid is, or some story time they want to bring into your school to try to sexualize the children, or whatever they're trying to do, the latest thing they're trying to distract you with, that's all really a ploy to get you up in arms. And not that those things aren't bad, they are, but that's really a distraction from the overall goal, is just take away your freedom altogether. And if you've seen some of the other videos on our channel, which, let's see, well, we have our Christmas and Hanukkah collection, but there were some other ones, which be sure to check those out. Now's the season. But there was some other videos I have on here about World War III and Putin and Prince of Rosh. Be sure to look those up too. If you just go to our channel and click the search button, you can put in Prince of Rosh, for example, and you'll pull those up, or World War III or so forth. But a lot of videos on that. But basically, this is all going according to plan. Okay, this is something they want to happen. If anything, you sense the reticence or reluctance on Mr. Putin's part to actually push that button. He does not want to have to do that, but they're getting to the point now where the West is overpowering them. It was one thing when they were just supplying arms to Ukraine, but now that they're actually getting involved and they're bringing in their bigger things. I think the Leopards is what they're recently releasing now. It's like a name for, I think they're tanks, special tanks they have. But basically, we have a more superior military force when it comes down to it. However, Russia does have a more superior NUKE. So what it's coming down to is Putin's basically saying, look, I don't want to go to this, but you keep pushing us against the wall. And now that you're getting involved, we have no other way to defend ourselves than to push that shiny red button on Christmas Day, right? So that's basically their deal. That's what's going on there. Putin's basically saying that here. Let's see. The Russian Defense Ministry said on Wednesday that the missile was installed in the silo using a special transport and loading unit in an operation that took several hours. The motherland will receive another sample of NUKE missile weapons, which will allow us to solve any tasks at the strategic level. Right. So they're basically saying, look, this is not the way we want to go. We'd rather sit, he initiated peace in the beginning. Is let's sit down and work out a plan here so that you guys aren't right on our borders, and that we feel safe. Sounds kind of reasonable. But no, they said no. We want this war, and you're going to be the one to bring us into it. So Russia deploys a portable ICBM NUKE outside Moscow aimed at the West. So Mr. Putin has renewed his threat against the West by appearing to ready a missile for launch, an NUKE missile. The missile has been put in Kozelsk, Russia, very near Western Europe. And it says footage shows a huge Russian Yars rocket able to hit the UK and the US being loaded into a silo at a base near Moscow. So I know up to now, the West is kind of like, well, that's going on over Ukraine. It doesn't really involve me. I don't need to worry about it. Well, think again, because this missile can land in your front yard, okay, or your backyard, or it can land down your chimney. So it's not something to just kind of dismiss and go, well, that's tough for them. I pray for them, but it's not going to affect me. No, it's going to affect everybody. And, a lot of people bring up the fact that is America even in the end times, right, in Revelation? And is it Mystery Babylon, or is that the Catholic Church? And there's a lot of thought about that, but basically, this could be the fire that comes down on the coastlands, as it says there in Ezekiel. Now, that is following Ezekiel 38 and 39, so it may not happen yet. Right here, maybe it'll just land in Ukraine for now, but it does make you think, what emboldens, could something like that happen prior to Ezekiel 38? Because what emboldens the Prince of Rosh to come down to Israel is if he's already taken America out of the picture. So if America's already been wiped out, and you think, well, we would just retaliate, right, and bomb them. But remember, this is what the cabal wants. A similar thing happened with 9-1-1, where you had these planes coming in, and they asked the guy in charge, Darth Vader, he's known as, if you know who I'm talking about, and they said, do you want us to call? Do you want us to call in the Air Force to take out these planes? And he kept saying no, no, no. And basically, he never intercepted the planes and just allowed them to hit their targets because it was all going according to plan. So the same thing here. There's a good chance they're going to tell the military to stand down, and they might just allow America to be blown to smithereens without any real retaliation of any part while they escape in their pods or whatever. So here's a little look at this, just to kind of give you a taste. So they're moving in this ICBM, again, this 12 times more powerful than the one for Hiroshima, and it has hypersonic capabilities, meaning it can travel faster than we can intercept it, travel faster than our ICBMs travel in the West. So they're just loading it in. It's like a truck. It's really interesting, actually. The truck actually can tilt up and load the missile, so you don't have to like how are you going to get this thing off a truck? But the whole truck just tips up into the air. So you got like the front cab is still on the ground, and then they take the trailer and just put it up in the air, and lower it into the hole in the ground. So these silos, haven't really been active since World War II, and the Cold War period. So it's pretty sad. It's a pretty sad day, from tear down Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall, to the wall that has now been quickly rebuilt thanks to our dictator, tyrannical, psychotic, sociopathic, evil villains who have taken over the world. And so here we are once again. So yeah. Here the Russian commander says the next escalation will be NUCLEAR. And it says Russia's unable to defeat the NATO bloc without using NUKE weapons, a Russian commander has admitted. Alexander Khodakovsky, commander of Russian forces in Donetsk, stressed that Russia is fighting against the entire Western world, so the next escalation of the war in Ukraine can only be one, and that's NUCLEAR. We know our capabilities. We realize the limits of our resources. If NATO countries exceed certain limits and they dispatch Leopard tanks, they are very close to crossing that red line. Because basically, they know what they can do and they know what they can't do. I mean, they know they can take out Ukraine, but they can't take out the whole entire Western army as one nation. Everyone realizes that the next escalation will be NUKEs. We do not have the capabilities to defeat the NATO bloc by conventional means, but we have the NUKE weapons for that. That's why there's only one option. And that's basically what he says here in this video. I've already gone through it, and you can go online and watch it, but that's what he says. And so they've got their Yars now in the silo, which are their missiles. The Russia's Yars intercontinental ballistic. I can see why they say ICBM. Intercontinental ballistic missile has been siloed at the Kozelsk formation in central Russia's Kaluga region. The Russian Defense Ministry announced today and will now be ready for operational use. 12 times greater than the American bomb that destroyed Hiroshima. The mass circulation newspaper report outlines some of the missile specifications, which include a launch weight of 46,000 tons, an operational range of up to 12,000 kilometers or 7,456 miles, that can hit the U.S. or everywhere in Europe, and a payload of up to 500 kilotons. Oh, that's nice. The RS-24 Yars is an improved version of the earlier Topol M, known in the West as SS-29. It was developed by the Moscow Institute of Thermal Engineering, was first tested, etc. Able to prepare for launch in 7 minutes. That's how much time you got to get your kids, I don't know where. Where would you go? You can't really go anywhere. Into your underground bunker, I guess, which probably isn't going to do much for you, but it's a nice thought. All able to prepare a launch in 7 minutes. The missile can be launched from a prepared site, a special silo with a sliding roof, or from an unprepared position during battlefield deployment. It's interesting. You think, well, who's he going to bomb? Who would he bomb with this? To me, it wouldn't seem very wise, actually, to bomb Ukraine because, he's going to take Ukraine. I mean, that's going to be new Russian territory. So he doesn't want to radiate his own territory, right? So it's more logical he's going to try to take out any sort of control area for the real war that's going on, which isn't from Ukraine, but from those of us giving billions of dollars that are being money laundered through Ukraine into offshore accounts. That's who he's going to try to take out, the psychopaths who are trying to destroy the world. So that means us, guys. I know you may not think you're a psychopath, and you're probably not, but you happen to live in a country that has been taken over by them. So there's a good chance they're going to be shooting at you. Maybe they'll go for New Zealand because that's where all their underground bunkers are, or something like that. I don't know. That would be, because hopefully he has enough sense to say, hey, do Americans love their children too? Is he going to think that, I don't really want to take out the citizens because they've been taken over by this wicked cabal. So somehow he's got to go after them individually. But I think he's going to somehow try to take out, our main command posts, military posts and so forth. Whew. I'm proud of Russia that my country puts into operation such products that the motherland can sleep peacefully. Well, I don't know that you can sleep peacefully because, there's a good chance you're going to get retaliated on if anybody with any sense is on the board. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't say any sense, but anybody with any patriotism, I guess, is involved. They're probably going to want to defend themselves. But then if you've got the nonsensical people who've taken over, they're probably just going to let it burn, so to speak. So there you go, guys. That's what's going on. And here they are bringing it in. Winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you got to do is call. And I'll be right there. Yeah, so even in the wintertime, they can launch these babies just in time for Christmas. So did you ever think you'd get one of these in your stocking? I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't think this was coming your way. It's kind of impressive watching these missiles launch. Let me see if I can show you this. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Nice going, Mikhail. We missed it. Anyway, there it goes. Where it lands, nobody knows. It's pretty cool, though. It's like they got these rings that kind of fly off the side. I mean, just from like a fireworks standpoint, it looks very impressive. Not so great when it's going to land on somebody. It's wild. Yeah, and then what happens if it accidentally falls in your own territory? What happens if the rockets just sort of die out and it falls right back down on you? Well, that's kind of, that's biblical. God says, he who digs a pit will fall into it. So there could be that side to it because he's against he's against the Prince of Rosh of Magog. So in any case, there you go, guys. That's what's going on. Kind of exciting, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe not the kind of excitement you want to have, but it's exciting, nevertheless. When these things begin to take place, stand up and lift up your heads because your redemption is drawing near. Are you standing up? Are you lifting up your heads? Because now is the time, people. Now is the time. You better call on the name of the Lord so you might be saved. Peter said in the last days, prophesy, or quoting Joel, he says, in the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. Even on my servants, both men and women, I will pour out my spirit in those days, and they will prophesy. I will show wonders in the heavens above and signs on the earth below, blood and fire and billows of smoke. Ooh. Wow. Is this one of those signs we're looking forward to? Blood and fire and billows of smoke? The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and glorious day. Is that because there's going to be some NUKE fallout going on that's going to darken? Is it from the fallout that's going to darken the sun and darken the moon? The good news is everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Woohoo! So start calling on the name of the Lord, okay? Now's the time. Turn to him. Repent and believe the good news. Turn away from this world of sin, guys. It's a world of darkness, and it's going to take you down with it. So don't give in to the cabal. Don't give in to the wickedness. Don't take the mark of the beast. and turn to the Lord now. Repent, turn away from all that, and love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Give him everything that you are. In the same way, any of you who does not give up everything he has, Luke 14, cannot be my disciple. Amen? Amen, guys. Loving you. Hope you're having a holly jolly Christmas out there. Woo-hoo. Did you think it might be this bright and fiery? Well, we shall see, huh? When the bombs go up, or is it when the bombs go down, the souls go up? I think that's what it is, right? That's the way we want it to be, right? So hopefully Jesus is going to snatch us away here soon, guys. It's getting close, man. So a lot of us looking at this next week. There's a lot of big things. Be sure to check out our Hanukkah profile. We talk a lot about the possibilities of what's going on next week. Check out that Hanukkah playlist we got because it's coming. It's coming. All right, love you guys. Wishing you all the best and all the blessed. I'll probably be back with something else today because there's so much going on. Maranatha.